It's good for your skin. It's good for your whole well-being. So I will advise Nigerians to go ahead and consume as much eggs as you like. The cholesterol in egg is good for you. It is not the cholesterol that attacks your body. It is good cholesterol that is in egg. So it is good for you. Go ahead and eat egg. Egg is actually what you need.
All right, for the adults, how much would you recommend?
Even if you eat up to 2 eggs every day or 3, it doesn't do anything to you. It even helps you to work on your weight. I mean, I've been eating eggs since 2015 till date. I eat an average of 2 eggs a day. And look at me. I am hale and healthy.
All right. Good
So I'll use myself as an example.
Okay.
Egg is good for you.
All right.
Weight Watchers can use egg.
Okay. Your members have been complaining of smuggling crippling the poultry business. How devastating is this on the economy?
In fact, it's beyond devastating. Because all these people bring all sorts of poultry products that are not healthy, and they flood it in the Nigerian market. If the controller of customs caught it very rightly when he made the presentation at the committee hearing in National Assembly. Most of the poultry products they bring here are expired. They use embalming fluid for the chicken they bring here. And these things attack our health. We shouldn't be eating them. And then when they bring them here, because they know that these things are waste, they sell them at little or nothing. They dump it on our economy, destroying the economy, destroying our businesses, and creating more unemployment problems for the economy. Okay. So the government has done the right thing in banning these people so that they will stop destroying our economy and our businesses and worsening our unemployment challenges in Nigeria.
Absolutely. Okay, lastly now, there was a report by the veterinary doctors indicating that poultry farmers are abusing antibiotics and vaccines which have harmful effects on consumers. Just give us your reactions to this allegation.
Yes, that was the case before. But we are far from there now. Poultry farmers have been put through a lot of trainings so that they can do organic farming. In fact, one of our corporate partners, Adamo Nigeria Limited, has done so much trainings. There is hardly any poultry farm now in Nigeria that is dependent on antibiotics, as was the case 3, 4, 5 years ago. So it is true before, but now it's not true. We are doing away totally with antibiotics because we know the harmful effects it has on the human body.
All right, finally, your last thoughts as the world celebrates World Egg Day. Briefly, please. Your last thoughts as the world celebrates World Egg Day.
I will advise Nigerians to eat egg. Egg is cheap, egg is affordable, egg is life, and egg is a complete meal. It has all the nutrients that your body needs. So eat egg. An egg a day keeps the doctor away.
Absolutely. All right. Bula Chukuma, member Poultry Farmers Association. Thank you very much for being with us on NTA International today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, moving on, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is to engage the General Abdulsalami Abubakar Peace Committee to ensure peaceful and conclusive governorship elections in Kogi State. Chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, stated this in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital. All right, we'll bring that to you in our subsequent bulletin. As the Committee on the Reform of the National Broadcasting Commission settles down to work, indications are that the broadcast space will no longer have room for any more flagrant violation of the Code of Broadcasting in Nigeria. Anthony Forson reports.
Reading the recommendations as contained in the President Muhammadu Buhari's approval for the NBC reforms, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed explained that it is to strengthen the regulatory powers of the Commission with respect to the issuance and withdrawal of broadcast licenses, as well as reviewing the broadcast code to reflect an upward review of fines from 500,000 naira to 5 million naira for breaches relating to hate speeches, inciting comments and indecency. Willful repeat of the infractions on 3 occasions after levying fine on the station will attract suspension of license. The recommendation also calls for an upgrade of breaches of political comments relating to hate speeches and divisive comments to Class A offense in the Broadcasting Code. The amendment of the NBC Act is to enable the Commission license web TV and radio stations, including foreign broadcast beaming signals into Nigeria. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Nigerian Copyright Commission has indicated its commitment to intensify its enforcement of broadcasting rights in the country, just as it has licensed cable operators in Nigeria to respect the protected signals of broadcasting organizations in line with the copyright law, international treaties and global best practices. The Director General of the Commission, John Asing, made this declaration in Abuja during an interactive session with representatives of the Association of Cable Operators in Nigeria. He warned that the Commission will not tolerate broadcast piracy in whatever form. John Asing maintained that while the National Broadcasting Commission is the best interpreter of its own broadcast code, the NCC will continue to monitor the broadcast space and enforce respect for copyright in accordance with the copyright law and international treaties to which Nigeria is signatory. In other news, the federal government says it will continue to partner with any organization that indicates interest in keying into the unemployment reduction program of governments in Nigeria. The Minister of State, Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo, gave the assurance at a capacity building program for artisans in Lagos. Tunde Saiki reports.
One of the major focus of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is to create jobs and reduce unemployment. Towards achieving this, several intervention programs like the NPower program and the Trader Money, among several other partnerships, were inaugurated to turn the beneficiaries to entrepreneurs who would then train unemployed youths to acquire skills so that they too could be employers of labor. This is why CAS Print is partnering the National Directorate of Employment under the Ministry of Labour and Employment to provide more jobs for the nation's teeming youths.
We think it's a very, very good initiative. We are going to encourage it. We're encouraging other entrepreneurs to come forward with such initiative, not only CAS. We will be there for everybody.
Managing Director of CAS Print, the initiator of the partnership, Ademola Kasumu, says the program is aimed at creating 1,000 jobs in digital printing for unemployed youths across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country.
We all know that digital printing is the future of the industry, and I think it's better we start walking into the future now. So we tell the teeming youth in Nigeria, put your hearts together, apply it for the KP2 program. We are not charging you a dime, it's for free.
But this conjunction with growth, contribution to growth of your countries. That's what we're aiming for. It's a printing this new concept of the idea of the program.
The revolutionary Canon 10,000 VP digital print equipment, which will be used to train the beneficiaries free of charge by CAS Print, was also inaugurated. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
Let's talk security now, and troops of the 26th Task Force Brigade have captured 10 high-ranking suspected Boko Haram members while attempting to sneak into some communities in Bitta Goza local government area of Borno State. A statement by the Nigerian Army Operations Media Coordinator, Colonel Aminu Ilyasu, indicates that the Army recently recovered 23 cattle from rustlers by troops of 1 division in Birnin Gwari local government area of Kaduna State. Similarly, 5 herdsmen alleged to have murdered one Haliru Yahaya were arrested by troops of 3 Brigade and the police in Birniwa, Jigawa State. Meanwhile, timely intervention by troops of 9 Brigade averted attacks on personnel of the Nigeria Customs Service Idiroko Command by some miscreants opposing the border closure. And in an effort to strengthen border security in Nigeria, the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, has inaugurated a forward operation base, FOB, at Ojaodon border axis in Ogun State. A statement signed by the Nigeria Immigration Service Public Relations Officer Sunday James notes that the Ojaodon Forward Operations Base is part of the border management reforms embarked upon by the service. The statement further indicates that the establishment of the FOB demonstrates government's commitment to strengthening the nation's border security and to providing a befitting work environment so as to boost the morale of personnel. The service PRO adds that the Controller General of Immigration, Mohammed Babandidi, is optimistic that the new base will complement the fight against irregular migration, trafficking in persons, and other trans-border crimes. And the Nigerian Air Force is to introduce additional programs to further develop the fitness of officers and soldiers of the force to effectively tackle emerging international security threats and internal security threats. The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, announced this in a message to the third quarter route march in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa covered the event.
Ordinarily, one may assume these personnel are dancing. But this is a serious exercise, part of the periodic route march of the Nigerian Air Force, meant to enhance the physical and mental fitness of these combatants. The Air Force Band is handy, setting the tune and providing the needed morale booster for the 10-kilometer route march, commencing from the Mogadishu cantonment, passing through the AY roundabout to the Niger barracks, terminating at the starting point.
As soldiers, you know all the challenges we have in this country. So you need to be physically fit and mentally fit to be able to carry out all the assigned tasks that you will be given from time to time.
Air Force officers and soldiers in the Federal Capital Territory took part in the exercise. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
You are watching the news on NTA International live from Abuja. The news continues shortly. Do stay with us.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in day your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Toros and Shangalo. Oga Legova, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We sabi say Peking go crawl before in waka. Don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for all Serie A and La Liga matches live. Go for Go TV Max.
Thanks for remaining with NTA International. Now, the federal government has suspended the Ibadan Examination Center in Oyo State for unruly behavior by candidates at the center. This is one out of the 47 computer-based test centers participating in the 2019 October Diet Teachers Professional Qualifying Examination nationwide. Olayin Kaojo reports.
Between 2016 and early 2019, 67,000 teachers have participated in the exercise.
From January of next year, if you are not a qualified teacher, you will have no place in our classrooms.
Due to the expected sanction, more than 69,000 teachers are participating in the October Diet of the Teachers Professional Qualifying Examination across the country.
It was very organized, and as soon as we entered, when it was 8, we started.
I'm doing it now because the pressure to get the TRCN exam is on the peak.
While most centers across the country had seamless exercise, the Ibadan Center had to be suspended for unruly conduct.
Because we intend to enforce discipline, and we also want to ensure that whenever we are conducting exams, they meet the standards that we've set. So we understand there are some challenges at the center and people are also unruly, and the natural reaction is to suspend that center for now.
For teachers who want to teach outside the shores of the country but have not been certified by TRCN, the council said modalities are already in place for such category of people.
We have already gotten so many proctors to make sure that we are able to monitor those who are taking the exam. If you fear off from the platform once, there is going to be a warning. If you fear off the second time, you will be warned. But if you fear off the third time, you will be logged out.
With less than 90 days to the implementation of the policy towards purging unqualified teachers from the classrooms across the Federation, the Council said another examination will be conducted before the end of the year. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
Now, the Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission says it has recorded a total investment commitment of $9.29 billion in the third quarter of this year. This was revealed to journalists during the Commission's quarterly media parley in Abuja. Benny Adams reports.
When money realizes that it is in good hands, it wants to stay and multiply in those hands. This is why Nigeria, with open arms, welcome investors from within and outside her shores, with a view to growing the nation's economy. To actualize this, when opportunity meets investment, the dotted lines are signed, signifying a deal is sealed and is expected to go well. But in some cases, it doesn't for both parties.
We got here because of the quality of the agreements that we signed.
Following such experiences, the Commission seeks to amend laws to adequately protect interests of government and would-be investors.
We need to continue to send to investors the message that Nigeria is not just open for business, but Nigeria is ready, Nigeria is willing, Nigeria is receptive and welcoming of their business and their investments.
Yewande Sadiku revealed that in the third quarter of this year, a total of 13 projects across 4 states worth $9.29 billion were announced by investors from 4 countries. The destination of these investments is the Niger Delta region with 87%, while Lagos, Kaduna, Anambra and Ogun states account for about 1%. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Up next is a review of stories that made headlines in the past few days, and Ado Adamu also is our guide.
Hello and warm welcome to the Weekend Review segment of the news, where we review stories that made headlines during the week. I am Ado Adamu also. The week started with the convergence of the nation's top economic players for the 2050 Economic Summit Group. At the opening ceremony of the summit, President Muhammadu Buhari tasked them to furnish the government with productive, inventive and innovative proposals toward unlocking the nation's potentials for sustainable growth and development of the economy. President Muhammadu Buhari, who threw the challenge, also expressed belief that Nigeria's unique challenges can only be addressed by homegrown solutions. And preparatory to the presentation of the 2020 appropriation bill before the joint session of the National Assembly, President Muhammadu Buhari received in the State House the Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, who assured Nigerians that the era of delays in budget passage is gone. During the meeting, they stated that lawmakers were not only ready to receive the budget, but also prepared to process and pass it in good time for possible presidential assent before the end of the year. In the meantime, the week recorded a historic day as President Muhammadu Buhari presented the 2020 budget to the National Assembly, which is estimated at about 11 trillion naira. Laying the budget before the joint session of the National Assembly for approval, the President said his administration succeeded in reducing inflation in 2019. He noted that government will continue strictly with the implementation of the Treasury single account. Giving a breakdown of the budget, the President said it is a budget of fiscal consideration to strengthen macroeconomy and enhance social investment programs. And matching words with actions, the 2 chambers of the National Assembly during the week commenced legislative actions on the appropriation bill. They observed that the 2020 appropriation has the potentials of encouraging macro, small and medium-scale enterprises and massive infrastructural development. Senators commended the attention given to road infrastructure and human rights advocacy. They harp on the need for revenue collecting agencies to strengthen their revenue collection system. Still, during have resolved to embark on industrial action after the 16th of October 2019 deadline given to reconvene the meeting of the Consequential Adjustment Committee on the new national minimum wage of 30,000 naira. And those were some of the major stories that made headlines in the week under review. I am Ado Ademualso, and thank you for your time.
All right, thanks, Ado, for that Week in Review package. And that's all we have time for on NTA International News at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Dennis at Digunloi.